So I wanted to come in and talk about my reaction to the Game Awards this week. Yeah, I never watched the Game Awards before. This was the first time. It's 10 years old, and this is the first time I watched it. I know everyone's been crapping on the Game Awards for many, many years. Oh, I'm not going to watch 3 hours of that. And there I found myself sitting down watching it and actually kind of stunned at all the big announcements that I was really excited about. I mean, really excited about, both from a nostalgia point of view and from like, hey, this is a brand new IP or a brand new game for the first time. So yeah, I just wanted to kind of go through and just have a conversation here about my experience with the Game Awards and the games that I'm most excited to play in the coming years. Welcome into the channel, everyone. On this channel, I talk about retro games, talk about new games, we just kind of hang out and just talk about the love of playing video games. So yeah, I did watch the Game Awards for the very first time, and it was an experience. There were some pretty actually awesome, kind of exciting moments of nostalgia. It was actually pretty cool to see like Harrison Ford walk out at one point and, you know, talk about Indiana Jones. That was a little nice surprise. There were a few other really nice surprises as well, and I have to say, I actually enjoyed myself. Yes, I was doing some other things. I was like on my laptop at the time and doing some other work. So I was kind of watching that out of the side of my head, you know, like you might watch a football game. But what really stood out to me was how it actually inspired me to revisit some classic games that I've never played before, titles that I totally forgot about. I can't believe that they're now releasing sequels. And I'm like, you know what? I want to go back and play some of those original games. Like, I never played them. Yes, shocking, I know. I didn't touch like a lot of these games over the years. Again, I've talked extensively here on the channel about sort of that 15-year window where I just didn't really play any games at all. So there's a huge black hole for me. So today I'm going to be sharing some of my favorite announcements and moments, plus some classic games that I'm excited to dive into before the new ones actually release. So let's get into it. Okay, first let's talk about the pre-show. Yeah, they had like, I don't know, 45-minute or so, an hour pre-show, and Ninja Gaiden Ragebound was announced. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound. Say that 5 times fast. It's a new side-scrolling game in the Ninja Gaiden series. I love the Ninja Gaiden series. Of course, it takes me back to the arcade in the late 1980s playing Ninja Gaiden. Seeing this new installment was really great. And it has a really nice like retro feeling to the graphics too. I mean, look at this. It has some nice pastel-y colors, really nice backgrounds here. Love the platforming. You're bouncing off the walls and then gripping onto some vines that are hanging down so you can climb across the ceiling. It has a really nice like Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown kind of feeling to it. You know, that was one of my favorite games of this past year, Prince of Persia and the Lost Crown. I absolutely love the platforming in that. And I hope that this game can sort of live up to that, because I have to say the Prince of Persia platforming was like God level stuff. Really, really great. So yeah, I'm excited. Ninja Gaiden Ragebound, and I'm excited for that one. So that was the pre-show. There were a couple other announcements. I don't really feel like talking about them, but let's dive into the main show, and we have to talk about the new Onimusha game. Now, it's been nearly 20 years since the last Onimusha came out. And this announcement kind of reignited my interest in a series that I frankly barely knew back in the day at all. I know people are like obsessed with Onimusha, and that's amazing. I never owned any of the games. One of my friends did, and I only kind of briefly played it. But I, of course, knew that Onimusha is sort of famous for its samurai action. Again, you see like a pattern here. I'm like a fan of, you know, Shinobi, Ninja Gaiden, and Onimusha looks like right up my alley. Sort of supernatural elements, a great blending of like hack and slash combat with like some fun puzzle solving as well. Again, I never played the originals, only like maybe briefly, so I can't wait to start. And it was kind of exciting. I was like, Onimusha, everyone's excited about Onimusha. Like, let me dive in and, oh my god, there's actually like a bunch of games in the Onimusha series. Like, let me go and check them out. And now, wouldn't you know it, like today, there's a whole bunch on sale now that they just announced because of this Game Awards announcement. Now they're available on Steam and the US eShop, on the Nintendo Switch, on sale for like really, really cheap. So it's like, what better time than like, you try these out, like go jump in on these things. So yeah, really cool. I'm gonna go back and check out some of the original Onimusha games. It's hard to say that. I'm going to go back and check out some of the original Onimusha games before this new one comes out, because I know I'm going to want to play the new one, right? I don't know if it's FOMO. I don't know. I guess, yeah, it is fear of missing out. I missed out on all those games. I want to go back and check them out. All right, next up, this was a surprise, and I've become a huge fan of The Witcher. And I've actually never even watched like the Netflix series. I think it's Netflix, right? Or is it Amazon Prime? I don't know. Anyway, love the books. So I've read a number of the books in the Witcher series, and I said I want to read the books before I play the video game. I bought The Witcher 3, but I haven't played it yet. So now they're introducing The Witcher 4. So now I have to go back and play The Witcher 3. You see this theme emerging? Like they're making these big announcements, and I have to go back and play some of the games beforehand. I know The Witcher 3, it's been in my backlog for a long time. This announcement kind of finally gave me the push I needed to start to prioritize it. I'm going to really try to play The Witcher 3 in 2025. That's a goal of mine. That is definitely on the top of my backlog to play it now that I've read a lot of the books. So has, rich storytelling, sprawling open world, moral dilemmas. You're a monster hunter, of course, Geralt, and you're following his journey firsthand as a monster hunter going through this whole series. It's considered one of the greatest RPGs of all time, and I love RPGs. I can't believe I haven't played this game. So Witcher 4, wonder how big that will be. I just don't know how many hours in our life do we have for these 130-hour RPGs. That's honestly why I've been putting off playing The Witcher 3, just because I know how big it is. All right, here's another one that's really exciting. Okami. There's a new announcement, a new game in the series. Had me buzzing. Okami is a masterpiece, of course. Stunning, really beautiful Japanese ink wash art style. Really interesting celestial brush mechanics in this game. It's a game that really is beautiful. And from all I've seen, again, I've only played it briefly, but it really blends sort of gameplay seamlessly with this art experience. And guess what? They just released a sale for the HD version. So if you want to go back and play the original Okami, there's the HD sale now again on Steam, and I think it's on the eShop as well. But anyway, that's why I love. So getting all these sales right now because they just announced this new Okami game. So really excited about that. So again, Okami, good. It's pushing me. It's pushing me to go back and try out some of these original games again, and that's a good thing, right? That's a good thing to go back and play some of these retro games. Frankly, I've been having a lot more fun playing a lot of retro games because there's just a lot of garbage lately, and I'd rather go back and play some of these classics. But there is a new game that was the highlight of the Game Awards this year, and it is unbelievable. May end up becoming my Game of the Year. I'm still weighing all of that in my Game of the Year list right now, and that is Astrobot. It won Game of the Year. Congratulations. It was sort of a cherry on top. And I have to say, it's great to see such a fun, innovative platformer getting the recognition it deserves. And of course, the game's developers got up on stage during the acceptance and really paid homage to Nintendo, saying we wouldn't be here if it wasn't for Nintendo and Mario and the platforming that they've developed over the years. And clearly everyone's looking at Astrobot being like, hey, this is like Mario Odyssey. This is like the next Mario Odyssey style here, and how is Nintendo going to respond to this and all of that. But I have to say, I think this is great for the game industry because what it shows, at least Sony, is hey, make another Astrobot, make another game like this. Don't waste your money on garbage like Concord. Well, like that kind of stuff, spending hundreds of millions of dollars on something like Concord that no one wants to play and is absolute garbage. And here you have a game that you spend way less money on and now is Game of the Year and everyone loves this game. This is gaming right here. Astrobot is gaming to me. So hopefully that's a clear message to Sony, make more of these. That's what we want to see. All right. There was some classics also that were sort of rediscovered this year, and it reminded me of a lot of incredible classics that I missed out on, in addition to Onimusha, of course, and Okami. I've also decided, what, it's time. I've purchased the game, and I haven't played it yet, and that is Splinter Cell. The Splinter Cell series, there's a new Splinter Cell game coming out, a huge surprise. I didn't hear any news or any sort of leaks about a Splinter Cell game coming out. Maybe I just missed it. Maybe there was leaks and I didn't hear about it, but you know what? Hey, new Splinter Cell makes me want to go back and play the originals. Again, another gaping wound in my gaming backlog that I never played any of the Splinter Cell games. Do you guys like Splinter Cell? What are your thoughts about it? I love stealth action games. I fell in love with the Metal Gear series, so hey, give me a good stealth action game, and I'm there for it. But it's really curious to hear about this new game and what it's going to look like. in the Splinter Cell series. So I'm excited to see what that's all about. Another classic that I'm finally tackling actually this holiday season. I'm going to play it before the end of the year, and that is Shadow of the Colossus. This has been on my backlog for a long time, and I'm excited. I bought the PS3 collection that has Eco on it, so the two-in-one collection. And I'm excited for this because I just know the beautiful minimalist storytelling, epic boss battles, really, really beautiful. Fumito Ueda's work is legendary, of course. And then after seeing his new game, which was just announced last night, The Lost Wilds, and of course, Jeff Keighley was up on stage sort of getting emotional about it. Like, I really wanted him to show off the gameplay. I had lunch with him. I had lunch with Fumita, and here it is. We're going to show a little bit of a snapshot. Here is some gameplay. You can see this trailer for The Lost Wilds, his new project. So for me, it's like a kick in the pants. It's like, okay, he's coming out with a beautiful new game. Finish his old games. Go back, finish Shadow of the Colossus. It's the perfect time to experience some of his earlier masterpieces. Again, I'm also planning to play Eco at some point. I know Pete Dorr, a couple of years ago, I remember Pete Dorr talking about, I think it's like his favorite game of all time. And I respect his choices in games. I watch Pete quite a bit. And so when he said it, I think it was one of his favorite games of all time, that's actually when I went and bought it. So thanks, Pete, for your suggestion on that. I'm excited to finish those games before the new one comes out. So I'm excited to try the storytelling and this sort of new world that he's building here. Okay. Here was an update that I didn't see coming at all, but then again, I didn't know really what to expect from the Game Awards. I was just kind of along for the ride, and that is Helldivers 2, and a huge update for Helldivers 2. In fact, I have a text thread with a couple of my friends, and in our text group name is the Helldivers, because we'll get together and we play Helldivers together. And wow, big update for Helldivers 2. This was a big highlight for me. The co-op action game added a whole bunch of new vehicles like mechs and armored transports that you can ride around in. It's got a fresh layer of strategy to the chaotic alien-filled battles that I absolutely loved. It also introduced some new enemy types, new biomes, so it's keeping the gameplay fresh and exciting. And if you're into teamwork and intense action, this game is definitely worth checking out. It is so much fun and really one of my favorite games of 2024. It kind of came out of nowhere and it became immediately one of our favorite games to play as friends. You guys diving? Let's dive. You guys want to dive? All right, let's dive. Right now we jump in. And even if it's for 40 minutes and we do 2 missions or something like that, it's an absolute blast. So I'm excited. I already downloaded the update, so I'm excited to see it. And by the way, it's out now. So the update is now. We don't have to wait like 6 months for it. So that was really exciting and kind of surprising. All right, some new IPs. So some new intellectual properties, not some classics. Let's talk about some new, and Kojima's big announcement there. So they kept showing Kojima in the audience and kind of flash back and forth with him. So you knew something was coming. And it wasn't just about sequels and updates. We also got a bunch of new IPs. Project Moonlight caught my eye. Has a really interesting sci-fi setting, time manipulation. Anytime you're playing with time, and time travel, time manipulation, I'm fascinated, so interested in that one. Also, Everwild looked pretty stunning. It focuses on exploration. You're going out discovering things in a world sort of filled with mystical creatures. It looked pretty amazing. And then, of course, we had Hideo Kojima's announcement of his new game, OD, Overdose. Okay, this was a bit of a surprise. So, not talking about Death Stranding. I thought we'd maybe see a trailer for his new Death Stranding 2. Nothing about any sort of Metal Gear. No, this was a bit of a kind of a showstopper. He's always known for pushing boundaries, but this is his new psychological horror game. And I don't know what to make of it, but it does look like everything else he does is going to be a bit of an unforgettable experience, however you slice it. It's definitely on my radar. I can't wait to see more about it, but I'm not going to say it's going to be the greatest thing ever. I don't know. I don't know if that's going to happen or not. But we'll see. So those were some of the big highlights for me. I'm sure I'm missing a few. Yeah, we could talk about Elden Ring. There's a new Elden Ring, spin-off coming as well, but I haven't even played the original yet. So my God, I've got to do that. Shadow of the Erd Tree before I get excited about another spin-off of Elden Ring. Yeah, there were other couple announcements that, okay, I'm not terribly excited about it. But I wanted to highlight some of the big ones for me that I was most interested in. Again, Onimusha at the top of my list, and it's really forced me to kind of jump in and now buy some of those older titles in that series. It's a reminder of these like incredible classics, and I like when these old games get resurfaced again. And we saw that with Fallout, by the way. I mean, the Fallout TV series, I mean, people went back and bought all these Fallout games, and they rocketed to the top of sales charts, which is great. I think that's great, especially if like Steam is going to push these sales, and the Nintendo eShop and even PlayStation are going to push these big sales for people. It brings out some of these older games again and can kind of revitalize them, and I think bring them to a whole new audience. So I'm excited about that. So whether it's Okami or Onimusha or The Witcher 4, Witcher 3, or Splinter Cell, I'm excited to dive into these iconic games before these new titles arrive on store shelves. And we had announcements like the Lost Wilds and the OD. So there was a lot of stuff in this. I think people probably will say that this Game Awards will go down as maybe one of the best in the 10 that have been. I don't know. Let me know if you guys watched it or not. I mean, if you've played any of these classics or you have new thoughts on some of the new announcements, let me know in the comments what you thought about it, what games you're excited to play. But it was fun. Maybe I'll watch it again. I'll watch it again next year, and see what kind of big announcements we see next year. But I'm excited. I think it's going to be a great year for gaming in 2025, and I'm excited. I'm excited to be there for it. So thank you guys so much for subscribing. Thanks for being a part of the community here, and we'll see you soon.